In many cases, we want to compare our 3D or aerial measurements to two-dimensional measurements, profile measurements, perhaps along the directions of the surface, as we may be comparing instruments or even looking at the directionality of a surface. OmniSurf 3D has a great tool for this. The XY profile analysis tool allows us to drag lines around and explore the profiles from those particular X and Y direction lines. Now, in many cases, OmniSurf 3D will actually provide additional information, perhaps beyond what you're looking for in terms of these profiles. In this case, we can get the average value, perhaps, of RA for all of the X profiles. So all of the profiles in the X direction, all of the horizontal profiles are being averaged into this number, and the same for perhaps RZ. Now we can do the same in the Y direction. For all of the lines running bottom to top along the Y direction, we can get the average values of these parameters. But here's where OmniSurf 3D can provide some added information. This little graph here in these cells is called a spark line graph. This is used in the stock market where we can see trends, and there aren't any scales or anything important in terms of extracting numbers, but they're very useful in terms of extracting trends in the data. For example, along the Y direction profiles, we see that the surface is quite smooth and then gets rough for a while. The RA value goes high for a while and then comes down. So let's look at the Y direction. Let's look at this line going from bottom to top. And as we move the line on the left along, we see the profile change and we see the position along the spark line. Now, as I drag this line to the right into these columns on the back of a penny, my profile got very rough now, and we can see that we're in a high zone of roughness along the spark line. So these spark lines can show us the trend of roughness across all of the Y profiles. As I swipe from left to right, my vertical bottom to top Y profiles get rough for a while and then get smooth, and we can see that in the spark line. So as always, we can see the individual roughness values and we can export these things, but let's see one other feature of this. If I look at a parameter, for example, RMR2 from the 𝐬𝐤𝐜𝐚 family, we'll see that its spark lines are quite flat. In fact, it even disappears in a few areas right in here where there is no RMR2 value because the surface violates the rules. But this can also show us that the RA parameter or the RZ parameter can actually show that the surface changes. There are regions in this surface that are different, whereas the MR2 value along the X direction does not show any significant changes. Similarly, along the Y direction, there aren't significant changes. This could ultimately help us determine which parameters are sensitive to variations in our surface. So as always, OmniSurf 3D has an incredibly big toolbox for analyzing our surfaces, but when OmniSurf 3D provides a tool, it often provides a unique twist on it or a bit of information that you might not see otherwise. So check it out with a free download 10-day trial. You can go there today and do that, or for more information, contact us at digitalmetrology.com.